The world seemed to stop spinning when Jungkook, a member of BTS known for his strong image and unwavering smile, unexpectedly collapsed in the arms of his friend, Kim Taehyung, amidst the bustling crowds of an international airport. However, it wasn't just his tears that shook the public, but the shocking statement that followed shortly after. In a clarification that not only stirred emotions but also lifted the veil on long-standing suspicions, Taehyung hinted that Jungkook had been shouldering a heavy burden he had deliberately concealed, and Hybe, the giant agency behind BTS, immediately came under scrutiny. The question now is unavoidable. What burden has Jungkook been carrying, and why was it hidden? The less-than-a-minute clip spread like wildfire. Jungkook, usually calm and charismatic, was seen running and embracing Taehyung tightly. He cried deeply, not like someone touched by ordinary emotion, but like someone finally exploding after holding back for too long. Within that embrace, the camera captured a moment that couldn't be faked, a face full of sorrow, a trembling body, and a silence amidst the crowd that seemed to give space to unspoken honesty. However, the first wave of emotion hadn't subsided when a second wave followed. Taehyung's statement in an open interview with the media. "Not all burdens can be shared with the world," he said, his eyes seemingly glistening. "There are things too heavy to talk about, even to the person who loves you most." The public began to speculate. Had Hybe been covering up a burden that Jungkook shouldn't have had to bear alone? This speculation was reinforced by Hybe's silence. They chose not to provide a swift clarification, as they usually do. There was no official statement, no defense, and no denial. This very void gave rise to many interpretations, that perhaps there was a truth being withheld. Several Korean entertainment observers called Hybe's passive response a silent strategy, an attempt to quell the issue by letting it fade on its own. But in this case, the opposite happened. Their silence fueled public curiosity. An unnamed internal source said that the pressure Jungkook felt wasn't new. He had long been in a fragile emotional state. What was seen at the airport was just the peak, the source said. For months, he worked incessantly, dealing with ever-increasing demands and facing internal pressures that not everyone knows about. The burden Taehyung referred to wasn't merely ordinary career pressure. There are strong indications that internal conflict, management tensions, and the struggle between personal idealism and industry commercialization played a part. Fans, or ARMY, reacted immediately. From social media to online forums, discussions evolved into demands. They didn't just want to know what happened. They demanded transparency. Hybe was urged to take responsibility for possible management practices that pushed their artist to the point of emotional breakdown. The hashtags #ProtectJungkook and #WhatIsHybe hiding became global trending topics, reflecting the magnitude of the incident's impact. Yet amidst the uproar, one thing became increasingly clear. Taehyung's statement wasn't a spontaneous outburst of emotion. It was a conscious decision to open something that had long been closed. Many fans began to see Taehyung's courage as a form of solidarity between members who no longer wanted to see their friends struggle alone. Some analysts called this a turning point in the artist-agency relationship in the K-pop industry. What makes the situation even more complex is Hybe's carefully cultivated reputation as a company that cares about its artists' well-being. If there was indeed a cover-up, that credibility is now at stake. Some observers even called this the biggest crisis of trust Hybe has faced since BTS's debut. And although there's no concrete proof that Hybe actually hid something, their reluctance to speak only strengthens the public perception that something is wrong. An additional statement from Taehyung on the third day after the incident further shook things up. He said, "I can't explain everything, but what you saw is only the surface." That sentence was considered an acknowledgement that behind Jungkook's tears, there's a much larger story that can't, or hasn't yet, been revealed. Some speculate that this involves personal decisions not fully supported by management. Others mention contract conflicts, pressure to maintain an ideal image, or even neglected mental health issues. Many also began to voice deeper concerns about the work culture in the South Korean entertainment industry. Jungkook isn't the only idol who appears strong on the outside but harbors inner wounds. This incident is seen as a reflection that even the most shining figures can crumble when burdens aren't handled humanely. Truth isn't necessarily dark, but the way it's hidden makes it look suspicious. Hybe finally released an official statement 5 days after the event. They denied any systemic pressure and stated that the incident was purely personal and emotional. But for many ARMY, the explanation came too late. The fractured trust isn't easily repaired. Many still ask, if nothing was hidden, why did Taehyung feel the need to say that not all truths can be revealed? Now, the world's spotlight is not only on Jungkook and Taehyung but on the entire industry ecosystem that shaped them. That brief moment at the airport has become a symbol of a much larger debate between humanity and industry, between transparency and control, between fan love and market demands. Jungkook's tears didn't just move ARMY. They touched the conscience of the public, who had only seen the stage without knowing what happened behind the scenes. One thing is certain. Taehyung's statement opened a wound that can no longer be covered with sweet words. And as long as there's no clear answer about the burden Jungkook has been carrying, the public will continue to ask, what is Hybe actually hiding? And how far is this industry willing to go to maintain its image, even at the cost of the well-being of the human beings behind it? The emotional incident between Jungkook and Taehyung at the airport didn't just stir feelings. It also opened a broad discussion about transparency, media manipulation, and the truth hidden behind the Korean entertainment industry. But amidst the torrent of emotions and viral speculation, a crucial question arises. Did this really happen as we see and believe? Or is there a narrative deliberately constructed to attract the world's attention? Various video clips, interview snippets, and long threads on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube have emerged with heartbreaking analyses. But is all this information true? Some fans express feeling Jungkook's pain, while others begin to question, are we witnessing a real event? Or are we merely victims of a narrative meticulously crafted by the media machine and viral algorithms? Have you ever wondered why moments of celebrities crying go viral so quickly compared to their achievements? Why does the camera seem always ready to capture someone's weakest point and frame it as a big story? We see Jungkook's tears, we hear Taehyung's trembling voice, and we see Hybe's silence. But is all this enough evidence to build the belief that there's a great truth being hidden? Let's reflect together. The information currently circulating doesn't come from a single reliable source or in-depth journalistic investigation. Instead, this narrative is constructed from TikTok video clips, speculative threads on Twitter, now X, emotional reactions from YouTubers, and comments from netizens who may not know the full context. Even mainstream media often only requotes what's viral without adequate verification. It's important to realize that emotion can be the most effective tool for shaping opinions. When someone we love cries in public, we tend to immediately take sides without asking further questions. But does this sympathy make us neglect verification? Or do we choose to believe because it's easier and more emotionally satisfying? Perhaps it's time we pause and ask, who benefits from all this? If Hybe is indeed hiding something, wouldn't it be more strategic for them to maintain their artist's positive image? But if this is just a misunderstood personal moment, why was the clarification so late? And if this is all an engineering, a PR maneuver designed to redirect public attention to BTS, who are currently on hiatus, have we become pawns in a media game? there's also another equally provocative possibility. Is this a narrative created by the fans themselves? In the digital age, fandom often becomes a media force capable of transforming ordinary events into global dramas. Fan-made content, video edits leading to conspiracy theories, and long narratives about hidden burdens constructed based on body language or ambiguous words can create a new reality never intended by the idols themselves. We encourage you to re-examine all the information you consume. Have you ever seen or read an official source that truly confirms that Hybe is hiding Jungkook's burden? Does the quote from Taehyung really talk about their agency, or is it just a misconstrued personal reflection? Remember, the information we present in this article comes from various social media platforms that are open, fluid, and easily manipulated. TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube are not sources that guarantee truth. They are channels of expression, not journalistic institutions. Therefore, the veracity of the circulating information must be further verified before drawing conclusions, but on the other hand, we also can't completely rule out the possibility that something is indeed wrong. We live in a world where power, image, and economics can suppress reality. But it is precisely because of this that we need healthy skepticism. Skepticism doesn't mean cynicism or disbelief, but it means not immediately accepting every piece of information as truth without data, context, and logic. As fans, as viewers, and as humans living in an ocean of information, we have a moral responsibility not to participate in spreading uncertain information. Spreading sad stories without proof is as dangerous as spreading false news. Not everything that touches the heart is a fact, and not all facts should be made public. This debate is still open. The world doesn't yet fully know what really happened. But one thing is certain, we all play a role in shaping the narrative. And we all have a responsibility to question whether that narrative reflects the truth or just a fabricated emotional comfort. Thank you for watching until the end. We encourage you to continue thinking critically, engaging in healthy discussions, and not rushing to conclusions. The entertainment world can be as beautiful as the glitter of the stage, but it can also be as dark as unproven news. So, in your opinion, is this a true story or just a viral illusion?